Welcome to our very first live in person recording of the Single in Law podcast. I'm super excited. I'm Thelma Anderson, the owner and creator of Single in Law. And the reason I started Single in Law, it only came from me and a couple of friends who are lawyers in this profession. And we always talked about our struggles with dating, career, mental health, spiritual growth, you name it. And we were very real and raw about our experiences as single lawyers. So we developed this concept behind this particular profession, but we did not want to limit it just to lawyers. We wanted to expand on individuals across professions. So with that, stay tuned. I am super excited about filming this very first live in person episode with a very special person to me, my best friend. We've been best friends for over 12 years now, and I know y'all are going to love her just as much as I do. So I'm going to introduce my guest for the very first episode that we're filming, Jessica.
Hi everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so ready, so excited. Can't wait for you guys to hear what we have to discuss.
So, one of the reasons why I wanted this not to be an actual lawyer, but to be my best friend is because we have these amazing conversations, whether it's in a car, at home, dressed down,
Yes.
sometimes like our Queen Latifah braids, and we're just being, our true authentic selves, just talking about life. And with us entering into a new year, 2023, I really wanted to dive into an episode that I'm going to title What About Your Strong Friends? Because what happens when you and your best friend are considered the strong friends for everybody else? Do you all check on them? Do you all value the fact that, yes, they are strong friends, but they need your support as well? And knowing that we are considered strong friends
For
for
sure.
everyone else, I think 2022 really showed us that we, as strong friends, like we were in the trenches. Like 2022 was ghetto as
Super
hell.
ghetto. Super
And
ghetto.
it takes you having to check in with your friends to actually know what they're going through. So, with the first part of this episode, I wanted to focus on mental health because both of us are very proactive in our
Very,
mental
yeah.
health. Finally, after years of struggling, thinking that we had it all together, and
Thinking we don't need therapy.
we don't need
We
therapy,
good.
until
What's
life
going
started kicking our ass, and we were like, oh, we need to talk to
So what
somebody.
you say the number is again?
Yeah, like, what's the number? So, with that, I know for me, 2022, some of the things that I put down on my goals list happened and happened at a rate that I wasn't prepared for. And it forced me to go into a state of depression because my thoughts were overpowering just my overall being. And that was even including going to being consistent with therapy. So from your point of view and your experience, how was 2022? How did it affect your mental health?
2022 for me was very stressful. She has the story to where all of her goals were accomplished. I have the story of mine's wasn't. So what do you do when you have these list of goals and you didn't accomplish nothing but maybe one or two of them? So, it was super stressful. I did therapy weekly. That's how stressful it was out of pocket. So that's how much I needed therapy to be that support. And trying to be the strong friend for my friend, it became difficult because you have to learn how to tune out what you're experiencing in order to be that friend for your friend. So I know you guys may see the memes going around to where you're just beat up inside. But your friend call or text, hey girl, I'm good. So what's going on? You know what I mean? You just set aside what you're going through. And that's really being a selfless person.
Yeah.
2022 was difficult. 2023,
Listen,
let's see.
I told 2022 to come in and act right. And 2022 did not come in and act right.
So
It acted
disobedient.
disobedient. Was a complete shit show. It was an ass. Like, when I say from the first month of 2022, I felt like I was in a battle in a ring with Mayweather, and I was getting my ass beat
Round for round.
from January to December. And I couldn't even celebrate some of the major wins that I had because my thoughts were consuming the fact that I was experiencing so many L's. Like, I know for me, a lot of people look at me and my exterior and think just because I'm a lawyer, I have it all together. And I suffer in silence. Like, I don't show a lot of my L's, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to create this platform, to create a safe space for us in this profession and in other professions to be your true authentic self, because when you show up as your true self, the doors will open for you faster when you are pretending to be somebody else. So I know for me, I take a lot of my L's in private, and I don't share them, so people automatically assume that everything is okay. What do you think why is it important to communicate with your friends regarding where you are, especially dealing with mental health issues?
I think it's extremely important to communicate with your friends, because if you're not communicating with people that you trust, for one, that friend you trust, not all of them, just that friend you trust, it's important to communicate what you're experiencing, because if you don't, how can they help you?
Yeah.
They can't. You won't get the help that you need if you allow them to assume what's wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to be vulnerable enough, one, and say, hey, I'm not having a good day. And drop the fear of being judged, or drop the fear of you thinking maybe your friend is not listening, or even drop the assumption of my friend is too busy, or she had this or that going on, I can't come to her with this. No. If you're experiencing a problem, talk about it.
Yeah.
And if it's not a good time, you should have that friend that will let you know, or even ask before you just start just spilling it on your friend. Hey, how's your day? How are you? You have a moment so we can talk? I think it's important to share, because if you don't open up, you don't unlock the levels that your friend may have to be able to nourish you or support you. So you definitely have to, open up and be vulnerable.
I agree with that, and I know one battle that I was having this year with going through the transition from leaving a job that I had been at for 5.5, almost 6 years, to going into being a full-time entrepreneur, where those months are a little scary. Like, you never know. Like, the highs and the lows of entrepreneurship is real. Like, and you have to have those individuals that's willing to show up for you and support you. And I came to a spot during 2022 where I was like, I'm showing up for all of my friends, and I'm sitting over here dealing with so much, and they're not showing up for me. So I had to battle those thoughts, like, and reevaluate friendships, because people oftentimes feel that the strong friend does not need comfort, does not need a conversation, does not need to be checked on, because the strong friend is constantly doing it for other people. And they forget us. They forget us and think that,
Totally.
oh, we don't need to go to happy hour. We don't need a day off. We don't need y'all to send a text and say, hey, how you doing? When I tell you my phone was so dry, in this season, not other seasons, but in this season, and it made me really reevaluate my circle.
For sure.
And to be honest with you, like I cried. I was like, oh my God, like these are the people that I pour so much into. And I'm a ride or die. You
Yeah.
already
Oh,
know.
yes.
Like, I don't care what's going on.
Yeah,
Call
for
me. I'm
sure.
pulling up. Who did what to you?
I gotta be
Like,
careful what I tell her, cause she.
listen, I might like you today, but if you do something to my friend, then it's
And I
up.
tell her it's over with
Like,
forever. Period.
so, and
Period.
I think with friends, some friends can take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
I felt like with some friendships, I felt that that advantage was being misused because they know Thelma and they know Jessica is going to pull up and still be there regardless of how they mishandle the
Mhm.
friendship. How
That's
do
the
you,
loyalty in us.
the loyalty, but how do we navigate in a new season with understanding that, yes, we are the strong friend and our friends, certain friends did not show up for us. So, what category do we put them in moving forward, knowing that they showed us in our most vulnerable season that we couldn't depend on them?
I think that's a good question. I was having this conversation earlier today to where you have to, for one, you have to sit down and really take time with yourself and figure out what is it that you need. What is it that you need in this season of your life? And we've had these moments where we go and sit down. Yearly, we started doing this maybe a couple years ago. What is it that you need from me in this season? Because relationships with your friends is like dating. You get to know your friends, you spend time with your friends, you go
Mm-hmm.
places with your friends, you have fun with your friends, you support your friends. And if your friends got kids, you support your friends' kids. Like she supports my son. She don't have any kids. So I think to answer your question, you have to first identify what it is you need.
Yeah.
And then have that conversation with your friends, those that are near and dear to you, your tribe, your circle. And realize and have that conversation with them. Hey, friend, when I'm experiencing this, I'm really needing this. Sometimes I'm needing a vent. Sometimes I need some feedback. Sometimes I may need a girls' night or you to just pull up or us to just do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And once you have that conversation with your friend, you also have to identify which one of those friends is equipped to handle that. And just because they can handle it, okay, great. This friend can handle it. They get me. It's
Mm-hmm.
reciprocity there. But what about your friend that's still a good friend to you, but they just don't have the
Yeah.
capacity to fulfill what you need? So you have to learn how to talk to your strong friend that can deliver. And this friend here, I wouldn't say look at them no differently. You just have to love them and be a friend to them based off of the level that they can pour back into
Yeah.
you. Because once you start overpouring and overpouring and
Mm-hmm.
overpouring, like a bank account, if you continue to make deposits, no one pours back into
Yeah.
you, you're going to be depleted. So it's like you have to then self evaluate and be like, this friend, maybe he or she hadn't even experienced certain things that I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
they may or may not know what to say other than it'll be okay or I'm praying for you. Prayer works too.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be what I need because truth be told, sometimes we don't want to hear pray. Even though we need to and we
Yeah.
know. No. Talk to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Be my earthly angel.
Yes.
Please. So that's how I say look at it. Let's know who our strong friends are and who can pour back into you. But also identify your friends who really don't have the capacity to.
Yeah.
That way you're not mind boggled by when they don't show up. Because you already know that they don't have that in them.
Yeah.
As long as they're giving you their best, whatever their best is, it may not be what my best is to you, but what your best is, I definitely expect that.
Yeah. And I think that's a major disconnect in friendships is that we don't have those conversations of
Mhm.
how can I show up for you?
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you need from me as a friend?
Mhm.
We just assume like when I come in and have new friendships, I'm automatically seeing where I can help or pour into someone.
Mhm.
And I overindulge them with my presence. And I'm like, well, I can't get mad because one, they didn't ask me to show up and
Yeah.
be superwoman. Two, I did it willingly.
Mm-hmm.
3, I should have known. So I do think having those conversations are super important, even with your friends. And I'll tell you, I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
have the conversation with a guy that may or may not be around the following year, but having those conversations with your friends is uncomfortable
Yeah.
because it can show you where you have not shown up for them. And for that, your feelings can get hurt like, oh wow, I didn't like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like you feel like you did something wrong even though they are communicating like, hey, I need this from you.
Yeah.
And these are some of the things that for me I want you to pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
as my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for us when we had that conversation it was very eye opening because I knew for me that I wasn't showing up as a friend
Mm-hmm.
as I should. And then I had to reflect like, okay, what are you going through? And I knew the losing my sister and being in such a demanding profession
Mm-hmm.
where I have to help victims cope with things that have happened to them. So I'm pouring into individuals that I don't even know that are
Mm-hmm.
hurt and trying to wrap my head around this new existence of grief. And then now I need to continue to show up for friends.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It wears you down, but I do appreciate those conversations because I know for me, I don't want to not be a good friend to people who are actually great friends to me.
Yeah. And with that, you also, like, when her and I started that, what do you need from me? Me knowing her as a person, I didn't take the lack thereof offensive. I took it as, well, maybe she just don't know. So y'all gonna get me teary eyed. So I took it as, well, maybe she just don't know. And that's when we had the conversation. So now when I say certain things, and I can share one, sometimes it's like, I was like, friend, when we're around each other, I want you to be present. Let's not just have our phones out or be in our phones or whatever. So it was funny. She was meeting some people a few days ago. She was like, I didn't have my phone out. So it's like when you have those conversations, I felt hurt because you acknowledge like you're right. And since then, I haven't seen none of those same things that would hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But she didn't know my feelings was being hurt because I didn't discuss it. But I was like, this is what I need. So that goes to your questions. If I hadn't expressed that to you, I would have probably eventually became angry
Yeah.
and resentful and lost a good friend.
Yeah.
So that's why, for one, being mature about your feelings, being vulnerable, and at least knowing that certain people do things not because they don't have a good heart or because they're not a good person, but if you just tell them
Yeah.
what you're needing, if they love you enough and care enough, they can deliver. And if they love you enough and care enough, and if they don't deliver, they would say, "Oh, friend, like I can meet you halfway." But that's still an acknowledgement. You can't expect people to be perfect or friends to be
Mhm.
perfect. And sometimes, even though we had that conversation, sometimes we just be so knee deep into our seasons to where we'll go for a few days without talking or a
Yeah.
week. And then it's like, okay, let's dial it back. Let's meet up, but we're that friends. We talk mostly all day every day. Even if we're not saying anything, we're listening. We're
Yeah.
we're we're, we're there. Like we have a really really good friendship, and I think that checking your mental health and having those conversations is important to allow friendships to evolve.
Yeah. I know in this season, girl, you gonna have me crying. That when we had any kind of gaps in talking, and I go back a couple of months ago. I was like, I have not heard from Jess. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is going on? And for me, I was like, you know what? Something I can always detect when something is wrong with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, being on that frequency when you really love and you care about somebody, then you're going to get a signal in your
Mm-hmm.
gut, like, and you have to be okay with not taking it personal when people don't have the ability to show up because they can't even show up for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing something, I was like, let me reach out to her. And this is where I would tell friends, like, you have to be very honest and transparent about where you are because nobody can show up for you if you are not letting them know what kind of season that you're in. And when you let me know, you was like, I'm not okay. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not okay. And
It turned into we're not
yeah,
okay.
we're not okay. Like and it opened up a whole new dialogue, and that's what sparked in my brain. Like, hey, how do two strong friends navigate through a season where every turn they make,
Hmm.
it feels like they're losing themselves and they are drowning and they're looking for that life vest, and it's like, who's going to pull me from underwater if I go under? Do I have those individuals around? And I can tell you, I have people, but if it's not you, I'm like, damn, we about to both go under.
And it's never been like that. It hasn't been. It's been we both has gone through stuff, but it hasn't been this
At
intense.
the
At
same
the same
time,
time, it's always like one up, one not, one this, one that. It's like it's always been like one or the other. And if we both have gone through something in the past, one of us, it was kind of like a little minor. We good,
yeah,
but for both of us to be knee deep.
knee deep, like we
It's a shark. It's a shark. I'm drowning.
like
Girl, I'm trying. It's
like God,
crazy.
where are you? Because the way life is handing me these L's, I don't know if I'm strong enough to continue down this road. And oftentimes, what people don't pay attention to is your thoughts can
Mhm.
consume
Oh
you.
yeah.
Your thoughts and emotions can take
Mhm.
over, and no matter how strong you are, your mental capacity can be clouded by those thoughts that can consume you, and you can think people feel some type, you can think all kinds of things that are
That is
not
not
the
true.
truth because those thoughts be like, I'm finna take you down. You
Mhm.
like, no, you not. And then they come back, it's like, I got you. And you like, damn, you do. And you like, shit, how I'm gonna get out of this right here because it's really taking me under. And
Yeah.
I never thought that 2022 would have consumed so much of our mental space with everything that we endured, from career to mental health to
Health,
health to
parenting for me,
parenting,
being an aunt with your
being an
nieces.
aunt. Like, life really showed its royal
Yeah.
ass this year, and I don't never want to see 2022 again.
I have to tell y'all that one thing I learned, that you know how you know these things, but you don't know that you know them until you experience them, is that feelings aren't facts. Just because you're feeling a way doesn't mean it's a fact. And a lot of times we try to create these whys or these
Mhm.
responses in our mind to where we create an answer that's not even
Yeah.
true. Just to have something to hold on to give us some relief of this is a why.
Yeah.
But the why is not even true. The feeling that you're feeling isn't a fact. So 2022, as up and down as it has been, it was a time for self reflecting. It was a
Mm.
journey. And
Mm.
I'm going to tell y'all, I don't know what everyone's religions out there is, but it became a moment to where I was like, God, what you doing? I'm going to keep praying and stuff because that's what I'm supposed to do. But I'm really kind of upset right now because this ain't what you
Yeah.
said. You said I should have the desires of my heart. And this ain't what I'm asking
Yeah.
for. So I'm feeling away, Lord.
Mhm.
But that's the moment when He really want us to be a true, authentic
Yeah.
self and have these conversations with Him.
Yeah.
Because if we can't give it to Him real and raw and very expressive on how we feel and what we need, I feel like, how can He deliver?
Mhm.
And it's like, He's not going to deliver what we need until we get our mental health in check and our faith,
Yeah.
like believe in it. Because right now it's like, I'm thinking 2023, don't come for me.
Don't
I
like.
have to believe, oh no, it's not coming for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
I ain't there yet. I got a couple
Yeah.
more days though.
Because if you go in with the defeatist mentality,
Mhm.
it's definitely going to take control before it even shows up. Because I had those conversations with God too. I'm like, God,
Hmm.
yeah, I know I asked for this, but and I know I can't control timing.
Right.
Um, I ain't getting no warning though. And then I
Right.
had to think, well, no, he did give me a warning because
Mm.
as soon as he gives you that indication in your spirit, that
Mhm.
is him telling you to move. And I disregarded that signal
Yep.
because I'm so loyal. I'm like, it ain't time. Yeah, I'm a little. Let me just stay here a little while longer. But God came and yanked the rug up from under me, and I was
Mhm.
just like, I know what you're doing, God, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
Like it still hurts. And you have to literally trust him. And that's the
Mhm.
season I was in all 2022 is trusting
Blindly.
blindly and having faith
Yeah.
and not being afraid and releasing that control and just letting things manifest the way that they were supposed to. And in that season, I had a lot of major wins that I didn't even celebrate because I was so consumed about the L's that
Mhm.
I took because I never been in this season before and I never knew how to navigate through this season, but I do understand that there's strength that I gain and new
Mhm.
understanding and new guidance of how to navigate in these seasons of uncertainty to where now I have a different type of armor on that I
Mhm.
didn't have before. So now if you come for me, I already know
You're
this armor.
equipped.
I'm
You're
equipped
equipped.
because I went through that season.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would ever have a season like that. And I'm thankful for the season now because it showed me a new level that
Mhm.
I can attain in my faith, in my walk outside of where I was. I'm thinking I'm, secure and God was like, oh, okay, you
Mm.
comfortable. You, you, you trust me? You say you trust me, but
Now I'm
I don't
about to
know.
test you.
I'm about to
About
test
to
you. Let me
test you.
test this faith.
Yeah. It's a
And
test.
and I know God was like, I see you. You trust me a little bit, but did you trust me a lot?
Fully, wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I think that in this season too,
Before we get to the next question, let us take a little commercial break. We're gonna come back and get into some more of this amazing conversation.
yes.
Hey, business owners. Would you believe me if I told you I created a step by step guide that is going to save you thousands on legal fees and show you how to properly form and protect your business? Would you believe me? How about if I told you I went through my own step by step guide as a serial entrepreneur and lawyer with developing a program that is going to help you save thousands? Would you believe me? Well, guess what? There is a free video waiting for you to show you exactly the step by step guide that I took to being a serial entrepreneur that is going to help you. Go ahead and click the link and get free instant access. We've talked about, right now, friendships,
Yes.
mental health. We even talked about the Lord.
Oh
We
yeah.
got
We
all
always
that to,
bring the Lord into
we
it.
we got it all in just in that short period of time. But now it's time to talk about, what people want to know is being our business about relationships.
Uh huh.
Because,
Mhm.
people, whether it's on social media, whether they slide in the DMs, they trying to figure out what's cracking with us because we so private.
Very.
We be hiding people and we'll forget about you because we didn't hid you. So the first question I have is, what does your love life look like right now? Are you, and this is a question that I ask men on the first date because I need to know exactly what we're doing. Because are you single, dating, married, or divorced? And depending on how fast they answer that question, I know if they lying or not. Now, I've had some hits and misses. I
Mhm.
had some people that didn't want to answer the question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch it up for us,
Yeah.
because we ain't married and we ain't divorced. So well,
Well,
you've been
I'm
divorced,
divorced
but that was a
years
decade
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
So are you single, dating, or are you outside?
So I was outside, but I'm back in the house.
Oh, you back in the house?
I am exclusively dating. And when I say I'm outside, I wasn't outside like that though. But I am exclusively dating. So we shall see how it
Mm-hmm.
goes and where it goes.
So when you say exclusively dating, because everybody got a different term for exclusive,
Hmm.
what is you and that person's definition of exclusivity?
So based off of our conversation, we have
Oh, y'all had a
decided
conversation?
definitely had to
He
have
communicate?
oh girl, what?
He
Over.
responds? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Amazing. Super amazing. So, based off of our conversation, we have decided to only date each other. Only date each other, get to know each other personally, our families, our children, to see if we are equipped to go to the next level, whether it's marriage or whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend. But it's so funny that the first day I met him, he said, I'm looking for a wife. And I'm like, well, I want my husband to find me.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if you it. But when he said that, y'all, I thought it was a game. But he has been consistent with that communication, whether it's with me or my family that he's met. He's been consistent with it. He's been consistent with knowing my mental. I can't talk to him and my mood or energy be different. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. No, you're not. What's wrong?
Mm,
Talk to me.
that's deep.
What's wrong? So why? Why do you like he's super deep to
Intentional.
where and he's very intentional and it's new for me to where sometimes I'm like, I'm good, leave me alone.
It
I
makes you
don't want to talk.
uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable because you rarely have it to where men really care about what's really bothering you,
Yeah.
that cares about your mental, and that won't allow you to say, oh, I'm okay. He'll literally get in front of me, sit down in front of me, like, you look like you want to talk. And I'll
And
be
you be like,
like,
I do, but I don't want to talk.
why leave me alone, not right now. You want to watch a movie? No, that ain't what I said. I'll be like, all right. Well, this is what's wrong. And he wants me to be the woman to where I'm okay with being vulnerable. I'm okay with expressing how I feel and to know my feelings matter. Because when you get into this relationship segment and talk, it's like you deal with men that make you feel like your feelings don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What you want don't matter. What you need don't matter. So being in this exclusivity now, it's like, okay, Jess. He told me just today, you have to realize to where you don't have to always be strong or superwoman.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, Jesus.
Because I'm tired of being strong.
I want to take the wig off, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Show the
know,
Queen
like
Latifah
the
braids.
show
Yes.
that needs to be rebraided, okay?
Yes, because y'all, them braids are braiding under there. They ain't
Ooh.
even, they holding on to the little thread that's in there.
No parts. Can't see the parts. But, I think that that's where I'm at. So we shall see what this exclusivity evolves to.
You know, I I'm outside, y'all. I'm back outside. I took a year off from dating. One for mental health reasons. Last year, I lost a very close friend of mine's on her birthday.
Hmm.
So I knew I wasn't emotionally available to date anyone, even though some of you all have been persistent, and I appreciate that. But I literally shut off responding to DMs, to people, approaching me so that I can get myself together because I knew I couldn't show up for anyone. I had to show up for me in that season.
Hmm.
So now that I'm back outside, I've discovered a new way that I want to communicate
Hmm.
with the person that ultimately will come into my life. And one thing that you said about communication, I think as women, we forget to ask men, what do you like?
Oh, yeah. You have
What
to.
what do you want? Like, what do you see? What do you need? What are you looking for? We forget to ask those questions because
Hmm.
we are so dialed into what we want, what we need, what they need to show up and do, that we don't have those conversations. And I know recently with me having those conversations with certain individuals, it makes them uncomfortable to respond because nobody has ever taken out the time to
Hmm.
really discover their needs and wants. So for me in this season, I want to make sure that not only do I give them what I'm looking for, but also ask that question,
Mm-hmm.
because in order to have a successful relationship, it can't be one-sided.
At all.
And that's oftentimes that's a lot of disconnect is as women we are so focused on you the man, be the man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the man, but they also need to know that you support them, that you love them, that you're going to show up for them, that you're going to pour into
And
them
care how they feel.
and care how they feel. And that is big to men. And they don't communicate it because men just are not natural communicators. But when you find that one as a communicator, that's like, come on now. Sometimes they overly communicate.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing to have, is a man that communicates and showing up in your true authentic self. Because listen, I ain't trying to be strong no more. Because I know for both of us in our past relationships or, dating, we go in and we automatically see what we can go in and fix and dial into you.
Yeah.
And we start doing without having established any boundaries or communicated between the two of us, because maybe they don't need us to show up in the way that we are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just want us to show up and not do as much or dial it back. So the fact that I'm outside, like y'all can send your references. I need three little references because y'all are crazy these days. The way that the dating scene is now, you
Yeah.
got to get three references because they may have a wife somewhere. They hiding a baby mama.
And we doing background checks. So
We doing
we gonna
background
do a
checks. 'Cause I
background
did
check.
one the other day and I found out some things that I
Yeah.
needed to know about this person, and it blew my mind because I was like, I was so. Listen, y'all. Let me dial into this because we was talking about this in the car, especially for both of us. Like when we really feeling a guy, like, and don't think that we are crazy, but when we are really feeling a guy, with, let's say 6 weeks, we ain't gonna make it 4 weeks to make us look desperate or
At
anything,
all.
but 6 weeks, if you have survived the 30-day, trial period, then we put you into the subscription phase, then we have literally planned a life for each other. Like we know, where the wedding may gonna be at. You probably be our husband in our head.
What kind of businesses we're gonna build
Yeah,
together?
we didn't
What
build
we
a whole empire.
life. But that's what we had to stop
Yeah.
doing early on. We had to stop creating these false fantasies, and when it don't happen, you left disappointed.
Yeah.
And you also had to stop going into a new relationship, whether you like the person or not, doing being a wife.
Yeah.
We ain't even exclusive yet. I'm not finna me listen. I think that's how I got to this exclusive rate, the exclusive moment now, because you go in being a wife and they ain't even ask for that. So it's like literally, why would a person buy into you if they already getting the things for free? So I ain't saying I ain't cooking and cleaning. Like my guy now, he knows. Like when I turn that stove on, yeah, he appreciates it because it's like it's in me. But I'm not over. I'm gonna show you what you are signing up for. I'm going to always
Yeah.
be my true authentic self, but I'm not going to overindulge into it until you either one commit.
Yeah. I
You
think
know?
that's the hardest thing, that the stage that men get so comfortable, we make them so comfortable that they forget that they need to commit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this conversation, y'all. And listen, I don't care what profession you in. Like lawyers are not excluded from being men playing in your face. And I had a conversation with an ex and talking about moving past where we were. And let me tell you, he really humbled my ass because he said, when you had this conversation, when we talked about this, I was like, you know what? You right. We didn't talk about this. And I couldn't even be mad at him because I didn't have that conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
So that experience, which is why I have those conversations up front and continue to communicate because I could have been mad, but I couldn't be mad because he was right. I didn't have that conversation. I didn't force the issue previously.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got to go back to the drawing board and I got to, move past you because you have become so comfortable. I've handicapped you
Mm-hmm.
to a point of no return. And that's the one thing about men when they come into contact with us, like they get this natural vibe to be themselves because we don't judge
Naturally,
you.
no.
We'll allow you to come in and be
You get
yourself,
this safe
a
space.
safe space. We're going to show up. We're going to pour into you. We're going to support you. We're going to love you. We're going to give you
Bounce ideas.
everything. And they become so comfortable with that. It's like, oh, I'm getting this in this stage. Shoot, why I need to go down another stage? Like, I'm already getting it.
Yeah. So now it's like you had to
You had to turn
turn
the
it down
notch
a
down.
notch, you know,
Yeah.
and still be that. And what we do, it become it's natural.
Yeah.
Like we're natural lovers and givers and doers and thinkers and all of these great things, but it's like speaking for me, and it may be relevant to you as well, to where everybody isn't my assignment.
Mm.
So I had to learn like who to pour into or who not to pour into, or just maybe those
Yeah.
seasons to where I'm not pouring, I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Or I give you my opinion or advice or time or two, and what you do with it is what you do with
Yeah.
it. But I can't make you be better than you want to be for yourself. Or I can't make you see my greatness or my light
Yeah.
because I always use this. I say, I'm a apple pie. No, I like peaches. I'm a peach pie. But just because I'm the best tasting peach pie, I might come across someone that prefer apple pie.
Yeah.
I can't be sad or mad at that. That's your
Mhm.
preference. So it's like you have to learn how to give a little bit, take a little bit, give a little bit, take a little bit. It's all about reciprocity.
Yeah.
And you run into those relationships where you can realize when a person is like trying to deplete you, trying to just
Mhm.
take your energy, just live off of your light. And that's when you have to kind of like, okay, dial it back a little bit. But relationships are interesting.
Listen, I know since I'm back outside and I'm back to dating and being consistent with it because it's true they can't find you if you're in the house on the couch and
At
that's where I
all.
was at in the house on the couch and I'm saying her like where they at
On
like
FaceTime.
you gotta get outside Thelma like and so when I started getting outside and meeting people and having those conversations I knew going in the season that I am with dating now that I'm not showing up as a full service.
That's good.
I'm not showing up and pouring a full bucket into you. You got to show me this is a show and
That they ain't
tell
even asked
situation.
for.
They ain't asked for it, so now I'm like, show and tell me because I've done it so much. I know who I am. I need to know what you can bring to me because the tables I've built, yes, I want you to feast off of it, but can I feast off of your table?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not an equal situation, then you're wasting my time. I'm not wasting your time because I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But you're wasting my time if you can't show up and be your true authentic self because men oftentimes get intimidated because I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. I come from the hood of hoods. Like I've grown up in some of the places that are not safe for kids. So I would never forget where I come from. So don't be intimidated. Make sure that you show up whole and healed prior
Hold
to
and healed.
whole and healed. And please also don't show up broke and broken either because we
We're
can't do
going
that.
places now.
Not
You
the
can't go that
B&B,
way.
don't show up broke and broken. Pick one
Yeah.
and show up in that and we can determine if we going to manifest some things. But I know in our season of dating, like we done had some of the most toxic situations. We have had some of the most up and down. And for the life of me, I don't know why we was being
Bamboozled situations.
bamboozled. Like we have been reckless with our own love life. We
Oh
like
my God.
we know that it's toxic, but we be like, oh, toxins are good for the body under certain circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's really not, but we put it in our head to make us feel comfortable with going through the bullshit that we went through. And then when we get out and we're like, girl, why the hell was I in that?
I think a lot of it was who we are, what our purpose is in life. That way, and that's the reason why we allow some of the things to happen,
Mhm.
because we see people who are broken, and we naturally try to help them
Yeah.
and somewhat fix them. But it's like you can't help and fix people that don't want it. And you have to realize that when the helper becomes the one that need help by trying to help the person that
Mm.
needs help, you gotta kind of scale it back and set some boundaries. And I think that it had to happen. Those
Yeah.
relationships had to happen for us to have the mindset on dating, to ask those questions
Yeah.
first off,
Yeah.
to kind of know when to kind of tweak our output.
Mhm.
That way we know we're also receiving some input. It became so intense for me to where I was like, I don't want to go eat. I'm trying to work out and lose weight. I don't want to go
Mhm.
eat. That all you want to do is go eat? I don't want to go on and eat. Like,
Yeah.
be creative. I'm a very creative person. Be creative. What can we do that really don't cost nothing, but it's your time? Because, for us, we attract entrepreneurs or business professionals. And for a person that is an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
their time is everything.
Everything.
Everything. So I don't want to just go eat. What can let's go work out. Let me see, are you physically fit?
Yeah. Let's
How do you
travel.
eat? Let's travel. Let's go see the world. Let's go do some things. You know what I mean? Let's go to the grocery store. Let me see what you picking out. Are you picking out like toxin stuff, or are you picking out like Myers, good cleaning,
Mhm.
non-toxic in the air
Because I don't want
products?
your toxins.
At all.
No, because it
Mm-mm.
that the
Mm-mm.
the spiritual connection that you get with somebody when
Mm-hmm.
you have sex. That listen, I need to know how you eat. What's in your
Yeah.
body?
Yeah.
Because if you out here, you consuming alcohol, chicken and beer all the doggone time. I ain't seen a
Burgers.
green veggie.
Mm-mm.
I ain't seen a smoothie in your regimen.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe you're not the
No
one. Nothing.
vitamins.
And I can give you the game, but if you're not open to
Mm-hmm.
exploring change, because we that ain't the type
We're
party
the
we are.
people to where some of our doctors are the same. We go to this like holistic doctor to where we're like, hey, maybe you should go get your gut checked,
Mhm.
or maybe you should go
And
do
they be
this.
looking
And
at
they're
us
like
like, "Why
what?
you in my business? Why you in my gut? Because you trying to get in my gut. So I
Yeah,
need
so
you
it's
to
like we
get
got to
your
make sure
gut
you're
together."
good. And we're so like, we're not herbalists, but we know a lot of things. So if they're like, "Who, my head is hurting, or I didn't have this going on," well, I'm like, maybe you should take some turmeric, or maybe you should try
Mhm.
this, or have you tried fenugreek, or have you did this, or XYZ. So it's like us naturally being helpers.
Yeah.
Men and people naturally like to gravitate to that. Have
Mhm.
you ever had an ex call you out the blue? Oh, I ain't feeling well. What you say I need
I had an
again?
ex tell me that he should have been listening to me about his health. Now he approaching his 50s and his body, is not performing like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
He will get there, but he's like, I should have listened to you when we were together when you was pouring into me.
All that.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to set you up for failure. I'm going to set you up to succeed.
Yeah.
And the fact that
Mentally,
everything
physically,
with your toxic, like, because
all
he
of
was,
that.
that one was toxic, y'all. And speaking of toxins, we're going to go into the section where I created this fun game. I'm a lawyer, former litigator. I still got it in me. So, I was trying a lot of cases. So I got this segment called You Ready for Death Row? And in death row, you got to answer these questions. You get two opportunities to object to any question, just like pleading the fifth, but you get to object and move past that question if you feel like it's too much for you to handle. But these
Whew.
questions, so before we do the question, let's take a shot so you can get
Cause I'm
ready.
gonna be doing some
You can get
objection,
ready.
Lord Jesus.
But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So you ready?
I guess
Let's
I'm
get to
ready
death
for
row.
death row. I ain't signed up for this though.
Okay. I'm ready. You ready?
I'm not.
Okay. Let's do this. What is the most toxic? And I'm gonna respond. I'm not gonna leave you out by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What is the
Mm-hmm.
most toxic zodiac sign you have dated?
Oh my God.
And you can name the person.
I'm not
I may
naming
put some people
nobody.
out on blast because y'all wasting my time.
I ain't gonna blast y'all, but I would say a Scorpio.
Diddy is a Scorpio, And
He toxic as hell.
Carisha loved him. She was like, that's the best, lover she's had, even though he's toxic.
A Scorpio that I know was very toxic, but he was honest.
They are honest.
Honest
They are.
AF. But toxic.
I have two. And I'm going to say Gemini, stay the hell away from me. I don't care how fine you are, how much money in your account. Y'all are bipolar. Y'all need some help.
Yeah, Gemini. Yeah.
And I'm going to say Aries.
Aries men, let's make that
The
clear.
men, y'all
I'm an
crazy.
Aries.
You and Geminis, y'all need to go on an island by yourself and do survival of the fittest because y'all crazy. Now, what was your favorite zodiac sign to date?
My favorite zodiac sign. I haven't really put much thought into it. Aries man, even though some of them are very toxic, I would say an Aries man and a Cancer.
I wish I had one, y'all, but I ain't got one. Like, I done dated Aries, Gemini, an Aquarius, a Capricorn, a Leo. Like, y'all ain't here for nothing. So show up again somewhere. Show up in a better atmosphere. Hold on. What is the most toxic thing you've done in a relationship?
Ooh, the most toxic thing I've done is when you know how you meet people, like social media is like everything, right? So you know how like something and that person just not finna just be honest and tell you. So I have created a whole situation to where you won't know how I found out, but I presented to you, hoping you be honest, but you still lied. So it's
that
like
means you did a background, you found
private investigating.
Oh yeah.
Calling my friend, hey friend, look at this, check this person. I'm gonna send you the page. Y'all know as women we can do. The thing about us is like, if we're bringing something to you, we already know. I don't care how toxic it was for us to find out. We had to go to extreme measures, and that brings me to the point to where don't allow us have to go to extreme measures to find out anything. But I ain't ashamed of it either.
The toxic thing that I've done, and this wasn't even in a relationship. Like, a person had ghosted me for like 24 hours, and I put two of my friends on, Inspector Gadget, and they found out some things that I needed to know.
I was that friend.
She was one of them. Have you ever had a one night stand, and will you ever do it again?
I had one in my early 20s, and I wouldn't do it again. That one night stand did lead to the guy wanting to marry me, though.
I've had one, and it actually, continued for a couple of years, and I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't, because it was so toxic. Like, it was like the toxic love that I had, thought I wanted. But when you get out of it, you're like,
it's too risky now. Like,
if you could spin the block with one of your exes, who would it be?
Y'all want to know, huh? I don't have an ex that I would spin the block with. Once I'm done and I'm over it, it's like, why go down a dead end street with a sign that say dead end, and you already been down that road. So nah, I'm good.
There's this one ex that I would spin the block with, but it's because I met him when his frontal lobe wasn't really mature. So I think now, because he's mature, I could really, we can really get into some things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, do you like foreplay or bust my back down?
Oh, depending on what mood I'm in, because sometimes I don't want to get into that foreplay. Let's get to it.
But
sometimes I'm like, no, baby, slow down a little bit. Let's kind of chill.
Yeah,
I want to make love to me, talk to me, and you gotta have that one to whatever you want to do, they gonna deliver.
I'm the same way. Give me a mixture. Don't just do one thing. Give me a
boring.
mixture. Now I have this good one: marry, fuck, or kill. I got 3 people. You got to pick if you going to marry, fuck them, or kill them. So I have Yo Gotti, Moneybagg Yo, and Mayweather. Which one you will fuck, marry, and kill?
Oh my God, I plead the fifth. I'm Jack. I don't want to answer that.
So I'll answer it. I'll marry Yo Gotti.
He fumbled Angela.
I'll marry him. Don't worry about that. I ain't Angela. I would fuck Mayweather and kill Moneybag.
Oh, money bag, you kill him?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Moneybag. Like, yeah.
Mm.
Um, but that's mine. And I got one more. Well, no, cause you gotta play this one. You gotta play this
She
one.
say I
You
get two.
gotta play
I
this one. You
got
gotta play
one more
this
meal.
one.
Don't have me getting broken up with.
Text. So this is the bonus. Now this on you, cause I ain't in your phone. Text the last man who you FaceTimed that you are coming over and leave the door unlocked.
Oh, that's easy. That's my guy.
Where your phone at?
Oh my god.
Cause I had a couple call me today, so I don't know which one gonna end up getting the message. Maybe the one that I'm vibing with. I'm a text that way.
I have to text him or
Yeah, you gotta text him like, "Hey, I'm
okay.
coming over. Trench coat, nothing under, and leave the door unlocked."
Okay, I did it.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me get this one more in, cause I think people need to know, cause size matters.
Oh yes.
Do you like small, medium, or big penises?
Medium to big. Only way I will accept small is if they definitely know what they doing.
So you accept a finger?
Nah, bruh.
They can't be finger size.
Hell no.
They got to be like fun size or a little bit bigger than fun size.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than fun
I
size.
like medium because big, I can't do nothing with big. It make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm.
Like it's all over the place. So,
Speak for yourself.
yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. This is the reason why I wanted to do this with you, because it gives them an overview of who we are, especially in friendships. Like, what about your strong friends? Like, we get to talk about everything, like life, from love, sex, to marriage, to mental health,
Yeah.
to our day to days. And this is exactly the platform that we have created for Single in Law, to be our true, authentic selves and show
Yeah.
up as you, because when you show up as you, you're going to win no matter what. And this is just the first of many episodes with special guests such as Jess. And we're going to continue having these real, raw, and authentic conversations where you showing up as yourself, so that the individuals that are watching and tuned in to Single in Law can get, a better outlook on individuals who are in these professions, that are navigating through life and just, living life to the best that they can. So listen, stay tuned for the next episode, because I cannot wait to give y'all more content and conversation.